Hi, I'm Tom and this is Adult Game Reviews. This week I played the most recent update for Our Red String. I reviewed it a while ago, but if you haven't seen my first review, you can check that out after the video. I had just hit 1,000 subscribers as of my last review, so yeah, it's been a long time.
Damn you, old man!
Right now it's on version 14.2, and I wanted to see if Our Red String still holds up. First, I'm getting so close to 100,000 subscribers, so if you aren't subscribed, please subscribe. Like the video, and if you really want to help me out, you can leave a comment down below. Okay, so quick recap. You have two main characters. You play Ian and Lena, and Ian was the quintessential English major in college, and he's struggling to pay the bills, so of course he gets a job in a growth industry like doing book reviews.
That, FYI, was sarcasm.
Oh, and, he's also a writer. Then you have Lena, who had to drop out of school to take care of her ailing parents. She works as a waitress and does modeling on the side, and somehow she makes enough money to send home to her parents. All very realistic, but just don't think too hard about it.
Are you still being sarcastic, or...?
However, first and foremost, this is a slice of life game. You're living their lives and making their decisions. However, do we run into the same issues that we did in Good Girl Gone Bad, like a very black and white moral system? Well, before we get into that, let's get into the visuals. So visually, Our Red String looks great if you like the more 2D illustrative art. All the characters look good with a couple of minor exceptions. In general, I think Our Red String is great. However, there's a lack of animations. I honestly don't mind, but I know a lot of people do. Audio-wise, there's music and sound effects. However, some of the music can be a bit repetitive. There were times Emily would walk around our place and just start singing some of the songs in Our Red String, and she didn't do it because they were good. They were just repetitive and got stuck in her head.
It was my understanding that everyone had heard. Heard what?
Brian, don't!
Oh, well, a bad.
However, this wasn't a big deal. In general, I thought the audio served its purpose. Now, there are two things that Our Red String does better than any game I've played. The first is all the branching choices. There are so many choices in the game. It's pretty great. It's also super upsetting when you make a choice early on and like 2 chapters later it bites you in the ass, but that is the beauty of Our Red String.
Consequences.
The choice tree that Eva Kiss is working with is probably the size of the Burj Khalifa. The best thing the dev did is remove the frustrating moral system from Good Girl Gone Bad. For the most part, you can make a variety of choices without it shoving you into a category like it did in the dev's previous game. However, if you ever looked at a guide, there are relationship points and stats you do need to work with. So if you decide to write your book instead of working out, you may lack athletic points moving forward. This really makes you think about what you're going to focus on next. If you're Ian, are you going to date Lena, or are you going to try to date your friend's girlfriend behind his back? These are all possibilities. For me, Lena's choices are even more difficult, especially with Seymour. The second thing that Our Red String does better than most is actually have 2 main characters. This is incredibly difficult to do from a narrative perspective where everything is intertwined. However, if I had to nitpick anything, it's very easy for Lena to fall into the stereotype trap the Good Girl Gone Bad had a tendency to do if you make certain choices. I honestly feel like Ian's character is a lot more fleshed out early on than Lena's is. Most of their character depth early on is based off of their own relational trauma, however.
Because we have trauma coming out of our butts.
So depending on your choices, they do begin to feel more like actual people eventually. While not the best I've ever seen, the writing is still very strong. Good Girl Gone Bad had some issues with negative portrayals of some minority groups. For instance, the portrayal of black or trans characters felt kinda lazy. From what I've seen, there are no trans individuals in Our Red String, and the portrayal of black characters is still kinda iffy at times, but definitely better than what it was in Good Girl Gone Bad. From a narrative perspective, Lena's storylines are the most polarizing. You can get some NTR themes in there that you may or may not like, so you have to be careful when making decisions. However, these are avoidable if you choose. In the last 5-ish updates, the story really started to come together. Some of the big plot lines are still not resolved, like who you're truly going to choose as your main love interest. Holly. Always Holly.
Wow, you really have a type, huh?
And does Ian win the book contest? Luckily, you do have one MMA fight, which was a fun choose-your-own-adventure, but we still have more fights to go. There are quick time events, which are timed choices. There are a lot of consequences with the decisions you make. There are more choices when you're writing songs or writing your book. All in all, the games were safe enough that I think even the most anti-mechanics and visual novels individuals won't run away screaming. The only real issue I had with Our Red String, which is kind of an issue I have with most slice-of-life games, is that there are times where the game is kind of boring. You are just going through your day-to-day, which is not terribly exciting for most people. I understand why these instances are in slice-of-life games, but it can still drag here and there. So what did I think? Our Red String is probably the best slice-of-life game out right now and one of my top 10 games overall. It's a fantastic game where the choices truly matter. If you don't want to see the consequences of your decisions, then this is not the game for you. I've played through the game about 5 times. I didn't like how 2 of my playthroughs were going, so I started over, and I had fun each time. Right now it feels very close to the end, so while I think the game is a play for me right now, I understand if you want to wait until it's fully complete, but I likely won't play many games this year that are better than Our Red String. I mean, it would be awesome if I did though. I want to thank all my backers on Patreon and Subscribestar, and if you haven't seen my first review of Our Red String, you can check it out right here. Thanks again. Until next time.